So, yes, there we go. I'm hoping, so fingers crossed, what I'll do is I will pop a little note in my stories on Instagram once I've had a good scout around here in my studios, and also update Facebook as well, just to let you all know. Lots of yearbook twos, so plenty of those, which are very beautiful. But yeah, there we are. So I don't quite know where to start actually. Today it's 1st of July if you're watching me live in real time. Hello if you're watching me on YouTube later. So thank you for being with me there. Yeah, it's first, I mean, can you believe it? We're now officially, aren't we, more than halfway through the year. So we're in the 7th month. Gosh. Oh, look, lovely comments. Thank you, thank you. And firstly, apologies. Hello, Amy on Facebook. I've just seen you just post. Yep, really exciting news today. But I'm afraid that in my rush with everything that was going on, I forgot my iPad. So Amy, I'm yet again flying blind. So if you need to let me know anything, just pop it on the Facebook comments and I will try and respond. But I'm kind of looking at everything that's going on. A few comments that have come in, I know, regarding fermentation, talking about kombucha, scobies, kefir, all of that. So a couple of quick things. There was a comment from somebody who said, what do I do with all my scobies? You know, I'm brewing kombucha, and what of course happens with kombucha is that your SCOBY is your lovely kind of thick fermentation plant that sits on top of your liquid that you're brewing, and every week to 10 days it grows a new fresh little SCOBY, like a baby SCOBY underneath, and the idea is that you then split them out. So you start with one SCOBY, it grows another one, then you have two, and then you set them going, and then they grow other ones, and then you have four, so that you absolutely end up getting overrun with scobies. So what people do is you either brew more kombucha, ever more kombucha, or you just give them to friends, you know, share your scobies, share the love. I know people who put them onto compost. I know people who turn them into sheet face masks. If you've got a big SCOBY, you know, cut the little eye holes and put it over your skin. Lots of different things. We'll have to do a whole feature, won't we, I think, on what to do with your extra scobies. But I think basically the thing is just share the love. And as they get older, they kind of get darker and a bit kind of thicker and tougher. You can then discard them. I put mine on the compost heap, actually, because they've got all that good bacteria in them. So anyway, let me talk about a couple of good things. I've got some free things. I've got free things for everybody. It's not often you can say that, is it? So free things. So when we launched Liz Earle Wellbeing, so this is the new cover. This is the subscriber edition. And this is the one that's being posted out at the moment. So if you are a subscriber, then you'll get this cover. And you may have seen, if you're on Instagram, that I posted about an hour or so ago, I put some behind the scenes of where we shot this. This picture was actually taken a while back when I was on one of my trips to Kenya. It was shot in Lamu. And I thought it'd be fun to show you a little bit behind the scenes of kind of, you know, where we were, because it's such a lovely place. And as we start thinking about travelling again, who knows? I mean, I know Kenya is still very much locked down and restricted, so it's not one of those countries that we're going to be whizzing off to quickly, but certainly something to think about for the future, because as you know, I do love Kenya. It's one of my favourite places, and I've got family and connections there. I've also got family in Italy, so I'm very lucky to have a few connections and places that I can go to and see family and communities there. So anyway, so yes, so you'll probably see a lot of pictures on Liz Earle Wellbeing, either that were taken in Kenya when I was travelling there or taken in Italy as well. So this is the new edition that's out right now. The retail edition is this one. So this is the one with all the cover lines on it, and this has to be kind of a bit more shouty because it has to stand its place on the shelves. You can see behind me, actually, these are my display copies over the years. I think we're up to 24 editions now. So we started as a quarterly, we're now bi-monthly. So this one is the July-August, so it's everything you need to send you right the way through the summer. Packed with amazing content. It really is good. And I have to say a huge thank you to my team, because again, this issue was entirely produced in lockdown, which is quite tricky, especially when you're dealing with printers and paper and photography and all of that. And I think that the team have done an amazing job. It looks really beautiful. I don't know if you've got it yet, but it really is a special one. So the whole theme of it, as you can see on here, I've written be happy and healthy, and that's really what it's all about. So it's very much focused about how we can improve our immune system, herbs and botanicals that we can use, great seasonal recipes. Lots of people are getting theirs already. That's so great, Denise. I hope you love it. Hi, Sally. Hi, Jenny. Yeah, it's being mailed out at the moment. Christine, you got yours this morning. Michelle, you're going to subscribe today. Okay, so if you are going to subscribe, if you're not yet a subscriber, I have news. This is one of my bits of news. So the first thing to say is that this one, the retail edition, this is the last ever copy that will go into retail. But I have good news off the back of that. So I've mentioned before, you may have heard me say that actually for so many businesses, I mean, there's been no business, I think, globally that's been unaffected by this terrible pandemic and this crisis that we've suddenly found ourselves plunged into, and publishing included. So we've kept calm and we've carried on. And what it has shown us, though, is the difficulties with retail, because when lockdown first happened, we just put our last edition into retail. And of course, all the shops shut. So we were left with a time-sensitive publication that has, an end date. And very, very few people could buy it. There were a few copies in some of the supermarkets that were open, but, the majority of our lovely magazines just sat in warehouses and have ended up having to be pulped, just go into recycling, which is tragic. Not to mention the financial implication, which is massive for a small business. So we've been thinking for a while, actually, how we could become more efficient, how we could be less wasteful, because the problem with putting something into retail, like a publication, is that you have to overprint. So we have to print maybe 3 times more copies than we know that we're actually going to sell in retail. A lot of the retailers are quite naughty. They ask for extra copies, even though they know that they're not going to be sold. So it is quite a wasteful business. And obviously when you're dealing with paper, you're looking at trees and printing and all of that, and all the logistics of storage and lorries on the roads and all of that. So it's not a fantastically sustainable way to produce something. And I've always been slightly uneasy about that, about the waste side of things. So what we've decided to do is we're going to carry on in print. We love print. We love print. We think it's a special thing. It's much more tangible than being online. And I just think that having something that you can physically hold, and yeah, Samantha, I agree with you. It's, it is a special thing to have. There's something about being able to switch off your screens, getting away from digital, actually sit on the sofa with a nice cup of tea or in the garden or whatever, and actually have something that you can hold and keep and just really enjoy, really connect with. And I actually, as a publisher and as an editor, you have to be even more responsible when you're in print, because if you get something wrong online, then you can just quickly nip in, make a few changes, update the web page, and there you go. When it's in print, and the same is true with books as well, you have to be really, really careful, because once it's gone to print, that's it. If you ever spot any typos or anything in here, it's too late. We can't change them. We've committed it to paper. So I'm always keener on the printed word in many ways, because I know, having published so many books over the years, I think 36 now and counting, everything that I do with a publisher, it has to go through legal channels, it has to be totally fact-checked, so there is definitely a real kind of security, hopefully, in what you read in the printed word. And so for all those reasons, we print on the front here, wellness wisdom you can trust. That's quite a bold claim, isn't it, to make, because every word in here I want to be as true as we possibly can make it, certainly with all the given information that's around. So we're going to keep going in print. Hopefully we're going to keep going in print, but it does mean that we're going to become subscriber only. So we're not going to be in retail anymore. So this one is in retail. So for the next couple of months, for July and August, you'll find this in hopefully many, many more shops now. You'll find it, with WH Smith's reopening and all of that. It will be much more widely available if you want to grab your copy in retail. But after this one, the only way that you're going to be able to get it is by subscribing. And that will make us much more efficient, because if I've got 10 subscribers, I can say to the printers, please print 10 copies, or maybe 12, maybe hope for a few more. But see what I'm saying? We're not having to print tens of thousands of extra copies that we just know are going to be wasteful. So it's going to make us more efficient, and also just mean that we can better control it, because we can just get it directly out to you exactly at the right time and all of that. So if you want it going forward, you will have to subscribe. So this is a message that I'll probably repeat over coming weeks and months, because I'd hate anybody to be going to the shops to look for it. The great thing is we're still going to send it with free postage and packing, so it's not going to cost you anything to get it. You won't have to go and find it. It'll just pop through the door. But you've got to be in it to win it, as it were, so you will have to subscribe. So we are keeping the price low. We're still doing a special offer. So we're still doing 6 issues for the price of 5. So you still get your free bonus issue. Plus, for now, we've linked up with Neal's Yard, which is a lovely brand. You know that I've talked about them very often. I've known Neal's Yard for decades, since Romy Fraser actually first started it. And it's not her anymore, but her team at Neal's Yard have given us a £10 voucher to spend on anything at Neal's Yard. All their lovely essential oils I talk about, their neroli and all those lovely things. So for the moment, while stocks last, we are being able to give a free online voucher, which is just such an easy way of shopping, I think, because it means that you don't have to go to a Neal's Yard shop or stockist. Wherever you are, you can use your voucher. So for the moment, that is the best offer. It's gone live and it's kind of launching today. You get your free issue, you get your free postage and packing, and you get your £10 voucher. So I hope that is going to be something that will be loved and enjoyed by everybody, and I look forward to welcoming lots more subscribers. It's kind of part of the Liz Earle Wellbeing family here, and I love connecting with you. As everybody knows here, I love connecting directly, talking to you live for real on Instagram and Facebook as well, and of course the other channels that we're able to feed into, like YouTube. So thank you for being with me, and I just look forward to growing this community, to having more of it. So that's the magazine news, and I'll show you the inside of the magazine in just a moment. But something else that is launching today, super exciting. I know many of you have spotted it on the website already. You're so fast, aren't you? And that is completely free for everybody during the month of July. And my team and I have been really busy behind the scenes producing a brand new e-guide. Now, as you know, I'm trying to find it in here, we are very keen on gut health, obviously. I was on this week, talking about kefir. Yes, best not mention that. Holly and Phil, not a fan, or not fans, but we know it's so good for us and it's so easy to make, and it's a lovely thing to have. So I have been working really hard behind the scenes, and I'm just going to find the page here in the magazine that tells you all about it, to produce a brand new ebook. Now, this is normally going to be $4.99. It'll be one of our normal downloads. On the website that I have lots of downloads. I've got downloads for menopause and the truth about HRT. I've got the Stronger, Slimmer You e-guide, which is really good if you're into fitness and want to shape up for summer. Then, they will always stay there, those lovely e-guides, and you can download them, wherever you are in the world, which is also lovely. Big shout out to all my international friends. But this one, we've actually linked up with Bimuno, who are a prebiotic supplement company. Really nice product. Again, I've talked about that for years. They've given us the opportunity to actually make this free for the whole month of July. So this is what it is. If you've got your magazine, then turn to page 46. And it is called A Flatter, Happier Tum. Yeah, we all want that, don't we? Get rid of the muffin top, get rid of those lockdown love handles, and really use the power of gut health, improve our microbiome. And I'm really, really thrilled with this e-guide. It is brilliant. It was written with me and my senior health and beauty writer, Ellie Smith. Thank you, Ellie. You've done such a great job. It's really, really good. It's packed with all the latest research, the science. It talks about all the questions that I've been asked over the last, few years really, since publishing my Good Gut Guide. all the new updates. So it takes you right back to the beginning. What is gut health? Why is it important? How does it affect our mental health? How can we improve levels of anxiety and improve our immune system? Really important now, isn't it? You know, as we go into this stage of becoming a bit more open and meeting more people and being generally more out and about, traveling a bit more. How do we keep our immune system strong for the whole family? So whether we're talking about small children upwards to the elderly, really important, the changes that we can make, just add good stuff into our microbiome. Many of you know that I have worked in the past with Professor Tim Spector, who's the lead gut health guru at King's, and he's also part of COVID-19, which is this app, which I hope everybody has. It's the Symptom Tracker app. And again, I've been working behind the scenes doing some updates with them, which we'll talk about. I think they're ready to launch it perhaps towards the end of this week. So there's a lot of science in here. So it's backed against evidence-based information. As you know, that's what I really try and focus on all the time if I'm talking about HRT and health benefits and risks and all of that. It's all about clinical evidence-based information, but just trying to make it fun and easy and accessible. You know, I've got 5 kids back home. Well, some of them are back home, some of them are far flung, but it's all about trying to get things that are family friendly, things that all of us, it's easy, it's cheap, economical, simple, it's not complicated. You know, let's make some yogurt. You know, it's kind of really simple stuff, but things that work, things that you will see a difference. You see a difference in your gut health if we're talking about issues like IBS, bloating, reflux, and then moving into the more serious conditions like Crohn's and IBD, and then also looking at food sensitivities, intolerances, looking at mental health, because there's this huge connection that we're just beginning to understand more of, and the way that our gut bugs talk to our brain, and if we can replenish them and keep our gut bugs healthy, then they will keep our mind and body healthy. You know, our gut bugs are our best friends. We should be looking after them, nurturing them, feeding them good things that they want to thrive. They help us sleep better, they help us think better, they improve our mood, they improve our skin. You know, they are really, really good things. And I always say to my kids, because I give my kids various probiotic supplements, and I say, you know, you've got to feed your friends. Have you looked after your friends today? So there are things that we can do that will improve our gut bugs, and even strategies that we can take on. So we know that things like intermittent fasting, resting our gut overnight. That's why I don't eat breakfast, because I extend that period of fasting, because I know that by doing that, I'm giving my microbiome a break and I'm letting the good gut bugs thrive. And there are particular bugs that I talk about actually in this e-guide, things like Akkermansia. And we know that people who are slimmer have more Akkermansia. So they are the good guys. We need to be encouraging them. So how do we do that? And we do that by feeding our bodies with the prebiotic fibers and supplements. We eat lots of inulin and resistant starches. Simple things like you can increase resistant starch, for example, if you cook pasta and potatoes, which are full of starch, and you let them go cold. And you either eat them cold, like potatoes, you can have potato salad, or sushi rice, you know, you eat that cold. Or you can even reheat. You can cook pasta and then reheat it by just plunging into some boiling water. It'll contain more resistant starch by doing that. And so little tiny tweaks that really don't take any time or aren't complicated to do will increase the amount of resistant starch, which then feeds our good gut bugs. So good gut bugs. So then we get more of them, they're happier, and they keep us healthier for longer. So much to say about it. And of course, you know, part of it, why I called it a flatter, happier tum, is that all this helps to reduce bloating. So that is automatically going to reduce the bloat around our stomach. And by improving our levels of things like Akkermansia, we actually can help to trim down. So lots of good reasons. Especially now, it's a really great time of the year, I think, to be really focusing on gut health. So this e-guide, it's free. I mean, there are no strings. What can I say? There's no catch. You don't have to fill in any form or do anything. You just go to Liz Earle Wellbeing and download it. And that will be for the whole of July. So you can share it. There's links on Liz Earle Wellbeing. Absolutely fine if you want to share them with friends and say, look, guys, go and get this free guide. As of the 1st of August, it'll be on sale normally, so it'll just stay as part of our normal library. It'll just be a $4.99 download. But it really is, I think, a good one to have. And because it's a download, you can keep it on your iPad or your phone or whatever. And it's got lots of links in it, so it's got links to all sorts of other resources. That's the nice thing about having digital guides, is that you can link really easily. I've got links to podcasts. I've recorded lots of podcasts over the years, all about kefir. I've talked about intermittent fasting. I've talked to some of the brain scientists, Professor Tim Spector. Obviously, I've had him on my podcast. So lots of really good stuff if you want to download podcasts and take a listen. So, and it's got recipes in there. So the 5Ks, which I'm not talking about running, I'm not talking about those 5Ks, I'm talking about the 5Ks of fermented foods. So that's kefir, which I hope everybody is familiar with the word kefir and has at least tried it, shop bought, if not make your own. Kombucha, that's the tea with the scobies. You can make your own. We've got links also to some kombucha brands that I really like, which I talk about. So don't forget, there's Holos Kombucha. They're the lovely women in London who set up kombucha brewing, and they have a really, really good brew that they flavour with different things. So there's a hibiscus and pomegranate, I think it is, which is absolutely delicious. That's one of my favourites. And we've got a subscription deal with them. You can get money off. You use Liz Loves, and again, they just deliver it to you wherever you are in the UK. So that's a really good thing to do. So you can brew or drink your own kombucha. So kefir kombucha, kraut, really important, sauerkraut. So that's just fermented cabbage, really easy to make. I mean, it's literally as simple as shredding cabbage, soaking it in some salty water and leaving it to ferment. That's the basis of sauerkraut. And then you can become more adventurous. You can add in maybe some chopped up carrots or fennel. You can add in chili. You can add in herbs and spices. You can flavour your krauts with different things. Really a good thing to do. Very cheap, very easy. And just have a spoonful every day. Pop it onto your salad. If you have avocado on toast like me, you can just pop a little bit of sauerkraut on the top. You can have it as a side dish. Lots and lots of different ways. Bit of baked potato and sauerkraut. It's easy to do, and it's fun. And you can, the whole family, just get them chopping veggies and soaking them in brine. So there's recipes for that. The 4th K is kimchi. So that's the Korean pickle. I mean, billions of beneficial bacteria in kimchi. And again, you just have a little spoonful, even something like a teaspoon. You don't have to have a lot of this stuff. And in fact, if you're new to gut health, you shouldn't really kind of go full on, because otherwise your gut's going to go, oh my goodness, what is this? And you can actually get the reverse. You can actually cause bloating by suddenly having too many microbes. So, start slow if you're new to it, and then build up, gently. So kimchi is the 4th. And then last but not least is kamut. Kamut, and that's a bit of a cheat really when we're talking about 5Ks, because kamut actually is sourdough, but then it wouldn't be the 5Ks, would it? It'd be the 4Ks and an S, and that wouldn't kind of sound as good. So I say the 5Ks, and the 5th K is kamut, and that's sourdough. And really interesting to see how many people who have digestive intolerances to regular bread can actually eat sourdough. You don't get indigestion, you don't get the bloating. Somebody's having their kefir and berries. Do I use fresh or dried grains? So I use both. You can buy online, you can get fresh grains. I also like the powders. So Nourish Kefir do a powder which you can use. You can just use that. It tends to be just once, the powders. So it's more economical to get the grains going. You may find that it tastes a bit sour if you make your own. So what you can do is you can rinse your grains and then just transfer a little bit of them to make your next batch, because the kefir grains tend to get stronger. So lots of different ways. It's an experimentation, isn't it? It's a bit like kind of doing any kind of home brew. You've just got to experiment it and try. But the key thing is just to do it. Even if you just go to the shops and buy some plain live yogurt, that's the first step of the journey. And you can give that to kids. Questions coming in about younger children. It's basically K for kick-ass. Absolutely kick-ass vibes. I like that. So yeah, kids, toddlers, it's really whenever you would introduce yogurt, whenever you're a health visitor, advises introducing yogurt into babies or children's diets, then that would be the same. That's when you can start introducing things like kefir as well. Just a little bit of a teaspoonful to start with, and then you can build up to it. But really good, really, really good to repopulate the microbiome, especially if anybody's ever taken any antibiotics. Of course, what antibiotics do, they're really important kinds of medicines, and we need them, and we need to keep our resistance high so that they work, so that they don't become antibiotic resistant with all the superbugs that people are talking about. So the thing with antibiotics, though, is if you take them, they are antibiotic, antibacteria. So they kill some of your good gut bugs. So if you've been taking antibiotics, it's really important to have your probiotics to replenish and to put the balance back. And interestingly, even if you are on antibiotics, you can still take probiotic supplements. It won't cancel out the effect of the antibiotic. It would just mean that your good gut bugs have a better chance of surviving. So lots of really interesting research on that. So this is all the kind of thing that I talk about in the e-guide. So do go and download it. I hope you love it. Please let me know what you think when you've done it. And a big thank you, as I say, to Ellie in particular for helping me put that together. So she's done all the design work, and it's a really, really good thing to have. So that is those of you who are new to Liz Earle Wellbeing and new to the magazine. First of all, there's a big information about how you have to subscribe, because we just want everybody to know that that's how they do it. And we talk about the Neal's Yard voucher. Botanicals, really beautiful, very, very talented botanical artist, and she does these beautiful illustrations for us, which we do as a whole page. So it's kind of a cut out and keep. I know many people very carefully remove that page from the magazine and then frame them as a set of botanical prints, which is just a lovely thing to do. So then we have Hannah Martin, who you may know from Channel 5. She's a fantastic makeup artist, and she does our beauty pages here, looking at colour. There's also homemade beauty things. This is summer beauty DIY. And sorry, I think we had a little blip on Facebook. Sorry, I don't know why. When I'm in London, Facebook seems to kind of be a bit tricky. So yeah, you might need to switch onto Instagram, but hopefully it's come back on. Are you all right on Facebook? Yeah, you're back. Good. What else do we have on here? So this is Amy. So Amy of Facebook digital editor fame. Amy is also a qualified yoga instructor. Yes, she is. One of my wellbeing warriors. So Amy has put together, this is actually me down at the farm. We shot it there because where else were we going to do it during lockdown? So she's talking us through some really simple poses, explaining it so well. And honestly, if I can do it, you can do it. So that's one of our series. This is a really good feature. Okay, this is all about histamine. You've heard me talk about it before. We interviewed Dr. Tina Pears, and she's talking about histamine not only in terms of hay fever, which we might associate with it, and there's a lot of talk about hay fever as well if that's something that's still affecting you, but also about the low histamine diet. And this is really, really interesting, and it's linked with migraine or migraine. It's linked with chronic pain, ME, fibromyalgia, all those hard to treat disorders that may in some cases be linked to a histamine intolerance. So we've actually written all about it here, the histamine friendly foods, what to avoid, and then this really interesting part of medical research called mast cell stabilization. And mast cells are part of our immune system, and how histamine is linked to our immunity. And there's also an estrogen connection. Yeah, estrogen, that hormone is just rearing its head again. And how, particularly during perimenopause and menopause, this whole relationship between histamine and estrogen can go out of balance, and how important it is to kind of recognize that and to get that diagnosed. So interestingly, talking about fermented foods, if you are histamine intolerant or have a histamine issue, you shouldn't eat fermented foods, because fermented foods are high in histamine. So you can have probiotic supplements, and again, I've written about them in the e-guide. There are histamine-free probiotics. So it's really important to know that if histamine is an issue for you, there are probiotics that you can take that are non-histamine forming. So, it's all so complicated, isn't it? But what I try and do with my magazine and the website and everything is just try and translate a lot of this science that's so important for us, particularly for midlife women, things that really are affecting us and keeping us feeling strong and healthy and chilled and reducing levels of anxiety and helping us to stay slimmer and a healthy weight and all of that, keeping us fitter for longer. So we really do try and just put a lot of effort into the research and the things that we think about that you will hopefully really enjoy reading about and want to revisit and come back and read time and time again. Yeah, Chrissy, you listened to the histamine podcast last night. That's such a good one. Amy, I think you can pop a link, can't you, for us on Facebook? If you haven't yet listened to it, that's with Dr. Tina Pears, talking all about histamine. And she's fascinating, really interesting doctor, works at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, has her own private clinic where she does a lot of the histamine work. And her own daughter was so incredibly poorly, and that's how she started the journey into research and discovering this, and she fixed her daughter, and now she's hopefully fixing my daughter, and hopefully will fix many more of us too with the research that she's doing there. This is a lovely feature. This is really tough. This is bar. Has anybody done ballet bar? Oh my goodness. She's amazing, Natalie. You can find her on Instagram. Natalie I can never pronounce it, I'm sorry. Eranodondia Muse. I've made a real mess of that, haven't I? Anyway, you will find her. Her website is n-rg.co.uk, and she's just amazing. She does online classes for ballet bar using resistance bands, and this is really tough. Honestly, you will know your backside. You will be able to feel it after you've done this workout, if anybody's done that. She's a former ballet dancer. Absolutely amazing. So graceful, so elegant, and really perks up your posterior like nobody's business. This is such a pretty picture. Look at that. Chocolate cake with flowers. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is moving into our recipe section, and such pretty things. So I'm just going to find some of these. There's great salad recipes, really good ones. This is a lovely one, fennel and orange with radishes and pistachio. Oh, great combination of flavours. I want to show you these floral cakes because they are so beautiful. Where are we? There's a whole thing on Spanish foods, Spanish feasts. If we can't get to travel, at least we can make it. This is great, apricot tart with whole grain and pumpkin seed pastry with a saffron creme fraiche. How delicious is that? Oh, so good. And of course we're coming into the season for apricots and peaches and things. So here we go. This, it's called Pretty Delicious. Look at that. Aren't they amazing? So beautiful, these recipes. So that's a wonderful cake. That's a carrot, spelt and maple layer cake. Wish it wasn't lunchtime. Absolutely starving now. Look at these lemon shortbread biscuits. How gorgeous. I mean, I defy you to find a prettier recipe. Isn't that just something else? Lemon shortbread biscuits. This one, spiced dark chocolate and date slices. Yum, yum, yum. That's all I have to say about that. If you make anything, by the way, do tag me, Liz Earle Me, on Instagram. You can tag us on Facebook, Liz Earle Wellbeing Facebook page. Lots more recipes here. The recipes go on and on. Then talking about favourite things. This is for the home, so moving into the home section. And then one of my favourite contributors, Sarah Raven. We love Sarah Raven. In the Garden with Sarah. So talking about all the fruits and veggies and flowers that we can pick and grow. lovely flower arranging feature here. This is with McQueen's floral ideas, lovely hydrangeas and delphiniums that we're finding at the moment. And yeah, I mean, it's just all about pressing flowers. There's lots of craft ideas, bits of travel, home travel. So this is all about the Lake District. And I was lucky enough to go to Paris before the lockdown and visit a few spas. So if you are able to get over to Paris at some point in the future, these are great. They're day spas. You don't have to stay. You can just go for the day, and really amazing treatments. Talking all about the podcasts, and these have scan codes, so really easy to find podcasts. And then we have a charity section as well, always at the end. There's a book club, by the way. You can join the Liz Earle Wellbeing book club. Talk about great reads. And then we have here, there's a competition, Bloom and Wild. You can win a whole year's worth of amazing flowers. Just have to click to enter. That's all you have to do, hopefully. You can win that. Liz Love. So this is where Liz Love started. I know we do a lot of Liz Loves now live, but this is where it started. That's one of my favourite speaker dresses. You'll have seen me wear that. And so then we do a charity section at the back called Helping Hands. And this particular section is called Love Thy Neighbour, and it's all about how we can help in our communities, all the different resources that we can do. Really interesting, from food banks to there's websites you can sign up to. This is a really great organisation called Spare Hand, and that's spare-hand.org. And it's all about volunteering. If you've got a spare hand and you could volunteer helping out with stuff. So it's an app that spreads the word. There's also another one that we talk about here called spreadingkindness.co.uk, and that's just a website where people put in what they might need help with, and you can just go and give assistance. It might be somebody who needs help with dog walking because they're not well, or they need a friendly phone call, just somebody to chat to, or somebody to help out with a bit of shopping. So just simple ways that we can connect with people around us to make life a better place. So that is the new edition, and it's just thrilling to be able to share it with you. I'm going to have to go because, my goodness, it's that time already. Just to say, this is another outfit from the British fashion brand Lavender Hill Clothing. Lavender Hill Clothing, so in their lovely lavender, which I love. This is linen, and it's just great to wear. And we've got the Liz Loves discount code. These are the great people who sent me their masks. So now I'm in London and going out and about, I'll be wearing their masks. Look at that, just lovely. And what I love about this particular organisation is that for every pack of these really beautifully made cotton masks that you buy, they donate another pack to a charity community project locally. And I just think what they're doing is great. Great British brand. Really happy to give you a shout out. A lot of their things are made in the UK, and they've even got little masks for children. Look at these with little parrots on. Really cute. Anyway, that is just about it. Just a couple of new things to say. We're constantly updating the website. I know lots of you are always really interested in the things that I wear. So we've got a new section on the website called Liz Loves to Wear. I get lots of comments and questions saying, oh, where did that dress come from? Or I forgot you mentioned, those shoes or trainers or whatever. So we basically just put it all under one section. So if there's things that you look back on and think, where did that green dress come from? Or, what about that pink top? Just go to lizearlewellbeing.com, just put in Liz Loves or Liz Loves to Wear, and it'll all come up there, so you can find it there easily. There's also, don't forget, the link to more free things, free digital magazines. So that's Readly. So we are now on Readly as a magazine. Readly is a great organisation. You can download literally tens of thousands of magazines. So for holiday reading this summer, definitely take out a subscription to Readly. There was a lovely message I had from Brenda. I don't know if you're watching, Brenda, but thank you. I did get your message, your email, so thank you for that. And Brenda is somebody who loves to crochet, and she took out a subscription to Readly, and she said there's always lovely crochet magazines, so with all the patterns and everything. So really worth doing. If you click the link, if you're on Instagram, go to my bio and you'll see the blue Linktree link. If you click on that, you'll see there's a link to Readly, and it's normally $7.99 a month, which actually I think is pretty good value considering you can get 10,000 magazines. But the first month is free. So if you want that, if you click through the link that we've given you, then you get your first month free, and if you don't like it after that, you can just cancel and then you don't have to pay anymore. So you do get a whole month of free magazines. I know, Amy, you will pop a link to Readly on our Facebook as well. You can also find it on lizearlewellbeing.com, where you find everything. So many resources, and I'm just so thankful. I'd like to say actually a special thank you to my team who have made this beautiful new edition possible. I can't do it on my own. And in lockdown, it's been a real challenge, and people have been home working and just going the extra mile to make this happen. So thank you. Thank you for all your support. I hope you love it. I hope you stay subscribing, even though it's going to come out of retail in a couple of months' time. It will still be in print, but you'll just have to subscribe to get it. And if you subscribe now, you get your discounts and you get that lovely £10 Neal's Yard voucher. So big thank you to Neal's Yard for doing that for us. We're really so grateful. Anyway, I'm taking a day off tomorrow. I got family day, but I'm back on Friday, back at the farm. Hopefully I might have Lily with me. Let's see. I'm going to be cooking in my kitchen, so it'd be nice to have her company as well as yours. But I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, and thank you so much for all your chat and kind words and comments. I do so appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.